Hey art family, this is Taylor Payton of thebeginnerdrawingcourse.com, and in today's video we're going to talk about how you can sharpen your skills and waste the least amount of time when you're at a beginner level. So basically I wanted to think about this from the perspective of if I had kind of a time machine and I could go back 10 years and tell myself this is what you should do in order to expedite your drawing progress and make sure that you make the best use of the time you put in. And that's what I want to share with you today. So without further ado, let's get into some of these topics and I will break them down and give you all the good bits after we kind of destroy them here. I don't know. It's been a little bit since I made videos, so just bear with me as I kind of get my metaphors back on point. You know, I drew for many, many years and I barely got any better. And then I discovered these wonderful things called fundamentals. And the fundamentals I learned from Andrew Loomis, and I've then transposed them into my beginner drawing course. The fundamentals are the basics you need to know in order to have the problem solving ability and to ascend in artistic caliber. Some of these fundamentals are things like line, shape, values, perspective. And when you start to learn these things, you'll be able to have concepts that make a lot of sense when you sit down to draw. Of course, you need the mechanical ability as well to move your hand across your surface plane, whether it is a tablet or a piece of paper. But without the fundamentals, you will find that your progress is less than desirable. I cover pretty much all of them in my beginner drawing course, but you can find the first lesson, which talks heavily about line, on this channel and in the description box. A lot of people will tell you that practice makes perfect, and while they're not technically wrong, you really want to perfect your practice to get the results you're looking for. In addition to learning the fundamentals by repeating different exercises, such as drawing tons and tons of spheres until you're very comfortable with them, you'll have to then evolve that exercise to challenge you to the next level, such as drawing spheres that are combined or mixed together, or drawing heads after using the sphere as a tool of construction. So these are the kind of things that really build out to very quick skill gain, and it makes it a lot easier to want to keep going because the progress you're seeing is very encouraging. So once you find or develop exercises like this, you'll see gains that heretofore have probably eluded you. Developing a process is pretty integral. It allows you, once again, to have clarity and to make the most progress with the least amount of time. If you know that you're going to start with a very loose sketch and then clean it up, that is one really broad overview of a process. But then there's also more finite things like digging into how you're going to construct your figures or how you're going to get the proper line weights that you want. So it can start out very, very kind of nebulous as an overview for your process, so you know that maybe step A is the rough sketch, step B is the more finished sketch, step C might be adding shading, and that is how you start to get comfortable within the confines of a certain road, a certain route that you know you can travel and you know is going to get you the results that you're looking for. This way you can spend more time focused on learning and creating rather than fussing about and having to go back a whole bunch. Or if you do need to go back, there's at least the clarity of knowing which step you need to go and correct before moving forward. Frequency is a huge part of repetition. So forming your drawing habits is going to be key to getting you the quickest results possible and making sure that you're putting in time on a consistent basis. This allows you to get more and more comfortable and wear the kind of grooves into your habits and into your habit stacks that allow for better progress over time. One tip you might use is to draw after meals or on breaks of sorts. You can also try to draw what you see in your sketchbook 2 to 3 times a day and then mark that off as little check marks on your calendar. The last tip I might offer you is that you could set a 25-minute timer and practice your drawing exercises for the duration of that timer, and then take a little break and find some way to tally how many of those 25-minute intervals you've done. This, of course, is the Pomodoro technique, which you can look more into if you are interested. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and for me, it has been very effective. This is the last tip, but it's very important. When you have an assignment, you have a clear and focused kind of goal that you're heading towards, such as 100 spheres, 700 gesture drawings in 2 weeks, just anything that is quantifiable and measurable and smart that you can work with. For me, I always include assignments in any of my courses, whether it is my character drawing course or my beginner drawing course, or just any of the courses. They always have assignments in them because I know that that actionable step with clear directions is really important to help people grow in their artistic caliber. Unless in the Art Maxian pack, of course, I just have a lot of process and breakdowns, which are still insightful and helpful, but then you have to design your own assignments or challenges based on it. So this is really a way to grow a lot because you're setting a pretty clear goal and reaching for it. For example, for the video, I just wrote down 3 archers and then I drew 3 different archers. I have never drawn 3 different archers on the picture plane before, and I found that it was very informative for thinking about different bows, different designs, different poses, and it forced me just a touch out of my comfort zone, which you can definitely tell by the last girl I was struggling, and I know that I would have to go and find reference and redraw that piece again just to be anywhere near happy with it. But that is the fun part. It's taking on the challenge, designing your own or doing assignments, and then finding a way to push yourself to that next level, even if it's just a 1.5% nudge. Okay, just to recap what we talked about really quickly before I send you on your way into the description box and into smashing the like button and the subscribe button. We're just going to go through these. Let's talk about learning the basics. So you want to know things like line, shape, value, perspective, form, measurement, etc. These are all really important things. You can find out more about them on thebeginnerdrawingcourse.com. I have a mini free course in the email list at the free lessons tab of the site. You also want to find practices that you can repeat and cement the basics that you're going to be learning about. So there's lots of line exercises where you try to create lines that are very consistent and cohesive and don't look kind of like that, because what are we going to do with that, really? I mean, I kid. Everything is kind of valid, but we want to learn the rules before we start messing with them, really. Next, you want to start developing a process that you can count on for sketches and finished pieces. So like I was just doing heads and whatnot in this sort of thing, and these ones are a little more finished, a little more, draw, erase, draw until you get something that's fairly clean. Some of these are really gestural, kind of like how I started with the archers, wherein I would draw the whole thing first quickly and then just kind of drop the opacity and then go over them with the same sort of clean lines. And it's just about how you want to modulate those processes for the results you're looking for. Next, you want to form a drawing habit to facilitate further development. We talked about things like the Pomodoro technique, or just stacking different activities that normally happen throughout your day with drawing, such as drawing after you go to the bathroom or after meals, just stuff like that to make sure that you're being consistent. And lastly, giving yourself a small project to tackle or doing a challenge online. There's challenge groups on Facebook. There are challenges on ArtStation. These aren't too hard to find. If you just type in art challenges, then Google will probably serve you fairly well. But that is pretty much it for this particular video. I hope it was helpful for you when it comes to taking your skills to the next level in a way that feels more aligned, that feels like you can start to click certain things into place and get the results that really just seemed out of your reach, or seemed like people knew something that you didn't. Maybe some people stumble into some of these things over time, but I found that the more I focus on these things, the better my art tends to get quicker, even at this level of skill. If I follow those things that I have just revealed to you, I can see gains of artistic ability within a week, sincerely. So again, feel free to check out the description box, check out courses. Liking and subscribing are always super appreciated, because I am very, very grateful to have any sort of audience in this very loud place that is the internet. And I'm grateful that I worked on my drawing abilities to the point where I can help you ascend in yours. So yeah, just feel free to share all that good stuff. And I will see you in the upcoming videos. Take care and happy creating.